So again, Jesus' actions would have rendered him unclean. But again, Jesus could care less about that kind of rule. So we can also see the immense intimacy of Jesus acting, putting his finger in the man's ears. Now, I'm not sure how he would put his finger in each ear, but maybe he switched fingers. I don't know, switched to the other hand. So let me not be pedantic. But even more so, spitting. And spitting in the Middle East at this time, in the time of Jesus, was a way to heal people of demons. And so if someone was giving you an evil eye, for instance, you would spit at them, and not necessarily to hit them, but to dispel the power of the evil that the person was trying to communicate through their eyes. So it's not just a gesture like many parents do today, and I remember my mother doing it to me, and of course I slobber, continue to do so, so she had good reason. So for us it may take a slightly different meaning, but again, the intimacy, spitting touched his tongue. I mean, if that man didn't feel loved, and of course he did, because he allowed the love that Jesus was communicating to him in these various intimate ways of allowing that love to have its effects. Jesus groaned. What does that mean? Except that we realize that Jesus didn't just do these things, oh well, another opportunity, just do it, da-da-da-da-da-da. That it took concentration, it took energy on his part. It took his focusing on this man and focusing on how, as God's instrument of revealing God's love, it would take a special kind of energy, and groaning would come from the depths of his being as, again, an indication of how intimate and how healing these gestures were on Jesus' part. Mark uses an Aramaic word, ephata, as a way of accenting how Jesus indeed spoke in those days, and all he said was, "Be opened." Even though he groaned, in the end, be opened. Not too complex to let God's love, that we would let ourselves be instruments, but we're ahead of ourselves there, so forget that for now, okay? Just set that aside and keep it warm. And immediately, in Mark's gospel, everything is immediate. And again, in this case, it certainly means that there was no lack of waiting for something to generate, some fire to catch a hold, whatever. Nothing of the kind. It was immediate. There was no space between Jesus saying, "Be opened," and it happening. Again, an indication on Mark's part of how effective Jesus was in being God's instrument. Immediately the man's ears were open, his speech impediment was removed, and he spoke plainly.